That's a goal. Oh, now that's what I want to be doing. That looks really good. Yeah, well, it's always a good luck.
One, two, three, got it! 1, 2, 3, go, go, go! La la la! Viva Cuba! Cuba! Come on, let's go! Vamos!
Drop it, drop it.
Come on.
Good cross.
That's it.
Drop off! Baggy left, Johnny. Front of your man. Man, your left shoulder.
Come on.
Hey! Got the ball.
Drop it, leave it. Hang on, make sure.
Out.
Stay with Fabi. Fabi, stay right. Stay right now, Fabi. Get out. Step on. Win. John, play. One up, Fabi. Hold with him. One up, Fabi. Win. Come on, left.
We're done, Omar.
Drive, Aziz, drive, one-on-one! Fresh! Go. Come here. Come on. Look for it, Gav. Open up. Time. On your back now. Go side, Alex, follow. Turn. Drive! Back pass! Good lead! Hang on, win! Come on! Go sweep! Well up, Gabby! Yeah, play! Come in! Hey, Omar! Finish it! Yeah! Offside! Yeah. Play quicker. Sorry. Go fast! Wait. We've got to tuck in now. Aziz! Just come in. Aziz, second. Aziz, secure. Men on now. Hold Aziz, hold. Hold Aziz, get on, go ball. shoulder.
Let's get it across there, get a shot. Man.
Becky's there.
Come on, boys. What's the runner?
Ale! Fun, get back!
Hey, run him in!
Seconds on Manuel, 5.
Who is this?
Go kill. Hey, hey!
Yeah.
Whip it!
Get in there.
Gungahlin! Winner!
Yes, Bobby.
Good pass, Bobby!
Next time. Good up, Bobby. Head
Good
up.
pass, good pass.
Turn!
Turn! Turn!
Run.
Dylan, get over right, Dylan! Emmanuel, come over now, Emmanuel! Go, come on! Hey, Gab. Gab. Red! 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 Gurney! Hey! Play, George!
He's on!
Red, time!
Hey!
Step it up! Go, Jill!
Chop.
Number 3! Every time! One that's just got to come up. Early back. Come on. Maybe right, maybe 20 right. Go, my Manuel, go, Jill! Step!
Alex, what's the way? Drop, shoulder. Johnny on your right.
Play Gab early.
You get
Bobby.
Forward, Bobby,
Johnny,
forward.
there's no covering.
Up! Open up, man on! Release early!
Yeah, Dylan.
Drive, Dylan, drive! Go yourself! Hey! Leave it, Dylan, drop off, walk away! Drop off early! Honey, right shoulder! 3, Bobby, 3! Step on, Bobby, step on!
Gotta go the other way.
That's you. Johnny!
Other way back. Other way back.
All good.
Thank you.
Give me a jack. Oh, Manuel, go!
Yeah, no space in the middle.
Jump.
Drive, Max, drive!
Good dive, Johnny.
Josh, man on your back! Just on! Dylan, inside! You are, don't lose it! One more, man on! Second time, Alan, time!
Time. Look at this.
He's off!
Stay. 3, get him, you gotta get him. Oh my, come on! Back! He's got 3 men. I know.
He got 2 others in the middle.
Hey, Bobby. What's the middle every time? Stay with him.
Stay in the diamond.
Jordan! Solid! Leave it! Come on!
I'll give you a yard, I won't give you 8.
Thank you, sir.
Get on the Jake. Bobby.
Step.
Jordan, left.
Step. Omar, step. Step.
Omar, stay in line. Ready, one step.
Hit it, son. Boys, wake up! Hey, boys, come on! Hi, get out. Come. Omar, early, come on!
Hey!
Go, deal, run! Hey, get on, Jordan!
Jordan!
Oh!
Good.
Bang on there! Corner!
Johnny, let's set them up. Alex.
Time! You got time!
Run. Go, Bobby.
Go, Alec! Hey!
Let them play here, stay central, so good transition. Yes.
Oh, look at Dylan! Look at Dylan!
Yeah. Run, drop behind! Nice!
one up. Pick one up.
Stay, Tommy.
Hey, yes, 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 yes.
Left, go.
Outside.
Boy! No! No! Keep going. Turn out! Early!
Wait, Tommy's good.
No, Jordan.
Got it.
Man on! No fouls there, no fouls there.
Go.
What the freaking hell? Come on, Mitch! Come on! Step!
Move it. Go back. Behind you.
Yeah! No foul!
Move it.
Time.
Get him up.
Step! Yeah, play! Hey, Fisher!
Come on, who's there?
Martin, darling, tuck in. Go! That's Johnny's work.
Hey.
Guys, get away! It's being dealt with, get away! Guys, get away!
All Gungahlin.
Everybody, get away! Get away! Hey, go! Hey, go!
Can we get a video?
Hey, guys!
Both teams.
Wait, just bad retaliation. These fucking heroes.
Guys, just go away, we're going to deal with it, okay? It'll be dealt with.
Everyone get away.
Nah, that guy wanted to play. Hey.
Yeah.
He got fucking kicked. But he got off and just kicked the shit out of him. What did he do? He's hacked him. That's right.
Oh, actually.
Retaliation. It's got to be consequential.
Yeah, we can deal with it. Do you want to hand up? Yeah. Yeah, this way, mate. This way. We can deal with it, okay? Yeah, okay. No, fair enough, okay. So, just for the tackle, I think that's fair enough, yes? Okay? Yeah, you cleaned him up. Yeah, yeah.
It's retaliation, it's a yellow card. No, it doesn't matter. It's a yellow card. What number are you?
Yeah, no, we're
Joshua White.
72. Okay? Sorry. Go for 10.
Go, Dylan!
10 minutes for...
That's all right, just use your time. This way. Free kick. Come on. No, double. Three after.
Mate, sorry, the kicking out is not acceptable, okay?
You've got to wait one second. Don't let the gunners go on today.
Hey, Rev, does he have to just wait a bit?
Yeah, just wait, once we get the kick going, then he'll wait for
Right. You probably just need to wait for them to do his signal, and then just wait to back on.
Big. 4-3-1 right now.
4-3-1. So someone get back up top. 4-3-1.
38 minutes for the bin.
Thank you. Hold. Keep playing. I tell your other player. You guys keep playing. Wait till he comes on, yeah. Wait till he gets out of the way. Right now, on you come.
Hey, Omar, quick.
Wait, watch the
Like I said, I'll give you a yard and I'll give you 10 yards.
Thank you.
Just slow, move it. Josh!
Yes, Jordan, beautiful. Yeah, get up, Johnny.
Yeah, do it.
No foul.
There you go.
Come on, Bobby.
Hey, Bobby! Bobby! Time!
Watch it! Make her on!
Come on, Omar. Easy now. Easy. Hey.
Oh, get back, get the ball! Get back,
Yeah, he kicked it away though.
Come on. Back him up.
I don't do anything. Nothing silly.
Stand him up.
Nothing silly, boys!
Come on, same thing.
Can't do it.
Down you go. Come on.
Got it.
Still in!
Yeah.
Come on,
yeah.
reset!
You don't have to do that, man.
Power reset, you understand?
Look at Jab. Look at Jab.
Step them up, Fitz. Step them up, Fitz. Got it, follow. Follow, John.
Go, quiet, quiet. Quiet, go.
Watch.
Step.
Come across. Feel it. Keep moving it. Come on.
Hey!
Come on! Yes, you baby as well. All of you.
Now we go right. Give that, Alex.
Go, Gabby. Go, Gabby. Come back. Go.
Huh? I've got 2 over here.
Hey, hands in the back.
Gungahlin. Mati, ojo que la pelota puede pasar. Peño, gánala. No, ¡Ah! ¡Joshi! Right, middle! Fabi! Hold up, Fabi! Hey, Sam! Sam! Sam!
How many times, Ray? Wait, early! Right!
Move away!
Boy, nobody's closing down the middle. Just punch the last time. Always pass it. He goes past.
Hey, cut! Keep going, boys, come on! Let's go! Play! You're a come on! Can we back it, Sophie? Well done, Johnny! Why are we letting him walk through? Finish, Tommy!
Keita, careful! Careful! You talk, you go to the bin. Careful!
Hey, go kick! Go kick!
It's offside.
Josh! Really, Josh!
Slide.
Turn! Press!
Come on, There we go.
Hey, no cost on there, no cost!
Win that back!
Come on! On your bike. Man.
Yeah, good.
Step it up.
Alex.
Just on halfway, man.
Hey, quick one, hey!
Hey, back and cross, Ryan, back and cross.
Nothing stupid!
Still
his shin pads on. Number 12. No, he has to have them on. Don't tell me to relax. It's wall. Sorry.
I was going to tell you.
Oh, were you?
Come over here, I'll get it. If I get kicked, that's my fault.
I'm sorry. It's my responsibility. Your safety. So off you go.
Sorry? It's no point being up
Yeah, I know. You get damaged.
Johnny! Was it a bit tough, is it? Come on, Tommy, let's go. Come on. Come on, H, next one, son. Come on. Left down. Boy, Ray! No foul! Keep in front of the ball. Tommy.
Get away.
Hey, push on to right, man.
Jump! Close it! Well done. Hey, run!
My job is playing on the ground. You kept going. That's my fault.
step right, right. Yeah, we make it high. Quick, come on, Goran. Well done, sir. Fuera.
Yeah, again.
Wait, Dylan. Wide. Yeah.
Here we go.
Dale, puta la
Good ball, Johnny.
Dad? How do we get back in this unit? I want to climb on the U, but I will use this, but I don't want to shake it.
Yeah,
I'll wait till the end of the game.
Come on, Felix. One more, Felix.
Nice down. Oh shit, sorry.
Dale, Sammy.
Doesn't matter anyway. I used to love taking them. I suppose when you're 14, you get a bit. It's already scored a double, isn't it?
Playing with man up.
Come on, Tommy.
Really? How long is that?
Come on, boys, it's a minute, let's go.
Right, Tommy. Let's go. Come on, Tommy, come on.
That's so bad. Hang on, let me.
Good afternoon and welcome to sunny Nijong Oval. It's Cooma Tigers FC versus Gungahlin United in the Men's National Premier League here from Capital Football. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. Joining me this afternoon, perched on the back of a ute at Nijong Oval, is Dave Jordan from Capital Football. Dave, great day at the moment. It's a beautiful, warm day, but it's going to get cold very soon, I think.
Yeah, we've got a nice spot in the sun at the moment. Russ, thanks for having me on board today, but once that sun dips below the hill, it might get a bit fresh, but a good game on our hands today, sure to liven it up a bit. Yeah, two teams that are in fine form at the moment. Tigers were top of the table coming into the round. Canberra Olympic edged ahead of them yesterday, and Gungahlin moved up to 5th on 7 points, but doesn't tell the whole story, of course. From their 6 matches this season, they've won 4, drawn 1, lost 1. They had the 6 points deducted at the start of the season, but since then they've come out all firing. Yeah, it's been a really good response from Marcel Munoz and his side. They started the season obviously with a sanction, then a bye and a loss to Canberra Olympic, and since then they've only conceded 2 goals, undefeated since that clash, and are really one of the form sides in the competition coming into today. Well, let's take a look at the two teams, starting with Tigers FC. It's a settled side that Gabby Wilk has out there now for the team that's pushing to get back top of the table. Jacob Cole in goal, a back four of Jared Tonini, Tony Spaseski, Lawrence Redmond and Darren Bailey. Marco Kita, Jose De Felipe, Dimitri Palaskos and Hussein Faresh, the midfield four. Mark Shields and Nico Abbott up front. It's a very strong side, Russ. They've been so good going forward this season, and something maybe a little different to Tigers teams of the past few years is the way they've defended. The introduction of Darren Bailey's been massive in that, coming across from the Rhinos, but they seem to be the real deal so far this season. Gungahlin United under the stewardship of Frank Baresi this afternoon as Marcel Munoz is overseas. They line up as follows in a 3-4-3. It looks like Josh Laguda in goal, but Abbas, Jack Green and Bernard Rene the back three. Midfield four of Nick Rathjen, Josh Gaspari, Anthony Timotheo and Jeremy Habtemariam. The front three, Michael John, Riley Angela Santi and Mishko Namoski. Again, very strong side. Looks so fluent up front recently. Michael John, Angelo Sante with his haul against Woden Western the other week. Mishko helped out by Jeremy Habtemariam as well with his pace and flair. They're going to be a real trouble for this Tigers team today, but they've been so strong in the back, as I mentioned, not conceding in the league since round 2, so that'll be a tough nut for Tigers to break down. You mentioned the key word there, I think, pace. There's plenty of it in this Gungahlin front three, and if there is something that you think there might be a bit of a danger in the Cooma back four, is that they're maybe not as quick as some other sides at the back. Yeah, absolutely, and that's something that can be a real equaliser at times, or can really bring down a defence, is someone getting in behind with pace. They've got a good midfield, more than capable of playing someone in behind, so that'll be really something for Gabby Wilk and his side to keep an eye on today. Referee is Delphina Domoski, Scott Boone and Thomas Gelatley on the line, waiting to get us underway. The leaf-strewn Nijong Oval. Gungahlin United, of course, unbeaten in 5. They've only conceded 4 goals in the league this season. So if the best attack in the division against the best defence, who comes out on top, Dave? Hard to pick for me. It really comes down to who's on today, I think. So often you can make a prediction and it's undone by one little mistake, so it'll be interesting to see. Sure to be a good battle. Your pick? I never pick. Don't put me on the fence. Smart man. Early ball forward is a chase for Faresh. Good win from Abbas. First touch from Michael John. Here's Anthony Timotheo. Saw George Timotheo, an interested spectator to the left of us. At the moment, we'll come back to that in a second as Namoski looks to send it into the middle. Good to see him here. Yeah, absolutely. Just a couple of weeks removed from making his Bundesliga debut in the final round of the competition for Schalke there. It's been a pretty meteoric rise for him, and he'll be out here watching Anthony today, who's really grown and really shown himself as a strong midfielder this season and last. Got his foot in a moon boot, unfortunately, it seems. So hopefully that's not too bad for him, and he can kick on next season. Be back in pre-season before they know it over there. Throw out from Cole to Bailey. John puts him under pressure and wins it. Clipped forward from Gaspari, looking for Namoski on the far side, and Tonini's across. One of the unsung heroes of this Tigers side. Good result for them last time out, 1-1 draw at Deakin Stadium in a game that could have gone either way. It was one of their first kind of big tests, I guess, of the season, taking on someone of Canberra FC's stature. Their 2 results at Deakin last year, a 7-2 loss and a 5-0 loss then. In the prelim, you could have been forgiven for expecting them to struggle, but they came out on the front foot, got ahead early and were just pulled back by Deakin towards the end. Faresh chasing, looking to keep it in, and does. Only Abbott ahead of him looked for the Argentinian forward and came off the back of Nick Rathjen, who lost his bearings just for a moment. He'll be one to watch today for Reg. We saw him cut in so well last week against Canberra FC to score that first goal, beating Sam Brown with a really, really good drive into the far corner.
Well, I spoke to Ian Graham in the week. He said it looped off his back slightly, which gave it that trajectory which took it away from Brown. A remarkable finish from that kind of angle, though, and Darren Bailey was a huge part of that with that lung-bursting run. We'll see a lot of that today. Here's Shields in behind for a moment. No flag against the forward, but Josh Laguda was there. I'm sure the Bailey clan are watching back in Scotland, as they always are. Shout out to them. Here is Darren Bailey behind the ball. Knocked down into midfield and touch into the path of Farej there. And an opportunity for the winger to take on Abbas, and he's got away from him briefly. Opportunity to swing this in and unmarked in the middle. Real chance there for Shields, and he's put it wide. What an opportunity that was for Mark Shields early on, and thumbs up for the cross, but he'll be disappointed he's not put that in the net.
Yeah, that's a real big opening. Only a few minutes in here, just inside the first 3 minutes. He'll be disappointed, Shieldsy, with how that one's ended, but that's a really good cross from Farej. He did well to lose Geraldine Abbas down this near side, and it's a chance gone being for Tigers, but good signs early.
Yeah, really good opportunity for Shields, and something we'd expect a player who scored 4 times this season to score. Hopefully they're thinking, Tigers, that they won't be regretting that. Here's Redmond. And a late change to this Tiger side, you probably noticed. Boyan Taseski starting in the middle of the park. So Paraskos must have pulled out in the warm-up, Dave, from the team that we were given.
So it's a bit of a loss for Tigers. He was good last week at Deakin against Canberra FC, provided plenty down the right edge. So it's a late change and a bit of a loss for Gabby Wilk.
Here's Abbas, who, if you didn't think he was going to be in for a game, he knows straight away that Fresh is going to be running him as often as he can. The Gunners, though, made a stern stuff. It's a good battle from Angelo Sanse. Here's Abbott, the league's leading scorer. Great skill from Gaspari. Tanini's ball forward. Michael Keita, who gets a start today. And there's a good ball as well, and the flag went up rather late, but I think it's the correct call. Tight games between both these last season, Dave. A 2-2 draw in a game we did at Gungahlin in close, when it looked like Christian Junner's goal had won it for the Tigers in the 94th minute, only for Ben Obbs to equalise 3 minutes later. And then, of course, the originally postponed game that was played in round 13, Dom Colacello and Mark Shields scored the goals here in a 2-0 win.
First game was a good example of why you don't save your full-time social media tile before the whistle actually goes. Can cause some adjustments, but yeah, 2 really good contests last year, and I think we'll have another good one today. Gungahlin potentially a stronger, more cohesive outfit maybe than they were in what they'd probably describe as a disappointing season last campaign.
Yeah, you probably had it all ready to go at 1-1, and then changed it to 2-1.
Yep.
And remarkably, in the 97th minute, Hobbs scored on the far post. If we get something like that today, we'll be very lucky. Tigers FC, of course, progressed to the FFA Cup qualifying final in midweek. A couple of goals from Nico Abbott, taking his tally to 11 for the season. Knocked out Tuggeranong United, and they will play Canberra FC, who survived by the skin of their teeth after extra time against ANU FC. That match scheduled for June the 15th, I believe, just after the Women's Federation Cup final.
That's correct. Double header at Deakin, 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock kickoffs. Of course, you can catch them live and free on Bar TV, Russ.
And Woden Western FC in their first ever final as Wanderers as the outfit. And they'll play Belconnen United, who conceded their first goal yesterday. Here's a chance for Timotheo. Might come for Hampton Merriam. Good block by Redmond to concede the corner if it goes, but Cole's there to collect.
Touching on that one, it'll be a good challenge for that Woden Western side. Still a young outfit coming up against a very good Belconnen team, but Mark Boyd and Sarah West have put in plenty of work over there. I think it'll be a good matchup.
Decent win for them yesterday, 5-0 at the Riverside against Monero Panthers. The latest score from Deakin Stadium in the Women's National Premier League. At half-time, Canberra FC 2, Gungahlin United 1. Mel Bunker and Jamie Berkeley with the goals for Canberra FC, sandwiching a strike from Nat DeMarco for the Gunners. So Gunners women 2-1 down, 0-0 here between two of the form sides in the competition. Green pushes it forwards. Nomoski was there too, 7 minutes gone. I'm sure Marcel Munoz is watching wherever he is in the world. Maybe he went to Madrid for the Champions League final, who knows? Here's Abbas. Looking for Angela Santi, who tried to dummy it. It's John. Rathjen to John again. Not much room for the Tigers, for the Gunners rather, to move. Here's Gaspari, going to switch it. Keita's there to block. That's easy for Jack Green. It's a good ball too. Finds Haptamarian. Can he deliver something towards the far post? Michael John, who's peeled away. Rathjen. Started nicely to loop one towards Nomoski. Back to Gaspari. Angelo Santi was there. It's a confident start from Gungahlin.
Yeah, looking to really kind of push Tigers back into their own half and doing a good job of it so far. Pressure on the ball to stop them getting out.
Going to stay in that, Dave.
Tigers looking to go on the counter.
Yeah, Ferrej. He stayed in for Ferrej off Abbott's back heel, and why wouldn't the Gunners be confident? 10 goals in their last 2 games, a 5-0 win over Woden Western. You mentioned Angelo Santi's 4-goal haul in that one, and a 5-1 win over the Rhinos last week. Timotheo swings one in towards Angelo Santi, who just peeled in front of his marker.
That was something of their weakness last year, Russ, for Gungahlin, was their inability to score, never really scoring more than 1, 2, maybe a maximum of 3 a game. Already a couple of 5s so far this season. They're really looking strong up top.
Yeah, they've certainly rectified that situation, and they're solid at the back as well, which is a winning combination any which way you look at it. Unbeaten, as I said, in 5. The last time they lost was a round 2 game against Canberra Olympic, 2-0. Apart from that, and the Charity Shield defeat, unbeaten all season. They did obviously win their FFA Cup tie against the Pumas, but then unfortunately an administrative error from their part saw them punted from the competition, which is a shame because they'll be looking at that thinking, wow, the form they're in could have been pushing for a final place themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as we said before, Marcel's team have responded really well from some of the setbacks they've had so far this season.
A bit of a horror start for them, wasn't it? 6 points deducted, and then the cup ejection as well. But as you say, responded well and playing well today. At the moment, you'd have to say, despite the Shields is having the best chance, Gungahlin having more of the possession so far. Here is Shields, won by Renee. Just in front of the Tigers bench, which has Martin Garcia-Chrome, Joshua Merkel, young Felix Burney on there as well. Gungahlin United subs Tom McLaughlin, Sam Haptamarian, Gabriel Ayul and Zach Barbatano. So plenty of firepower on that bench as well for the Gunners. Hooked in the air by Green. Taseski sends it back. There's Renee. Bit of head tennis, and Boyan Taseski apologises for the slice. Picturesque winter's day at Nijong Oval. Would it take us about an hour to get here? But a bit longer for you?
Yes.
About 90 minutes?
90 minutes via Gugong. That wonderful hub of Canberra.
It's actually in New South Wales, mate.
We don't have to claim it.
You wish you could.
Can only dream, Russ.
Here's Rathjen, beaten to it by Ferrej. Abbas clips it forwards. Should be easy for Redmond to send back from whence it came. Good control by Bernard Renee. Abbas again, good pressure that from Jose Di Felipe, but the Gunners work it out nicely. Abbas. Important toe from Bailey. Keita gives it away into midfield. Here's Gaspari. Picks the runners to his left. Haptamarian's one of them. He's got Nomoski on the overlap, and he's asked Mishka Nomoski to go for that, but slightly overcooked the pass. Slick move again from Gungahlin, though.
Moving it well out of the back. That started with Jordan Abbas kind of winning the ball down here on this wing, and although they won it back in midfield, a good switch of play from right across to the left. That final ball may be missing at the moment, but good signs.
Some big fixtures next week in round 9 of the MPL. Possibility that we'll be at Tuggeranong for a doubleheader.
That's it.
Tuggeranong United versus Wagga City Wanderers in the women's competition. Tuggeranong versus Riverina Rhinos in the men's. Tuggeranong taking on the entirety of the, what do you call it, Central West District?
Ish.
Next week, Gungahlin United are on their travels again. They play Canberra FC. Oh no, sorry, that's a week after. Sorry, looking ahead of myself. They're home to Canberra FC next week.
The week after's a bye, Russ.
The bye week, yep. All over it, mate. And Tigers play Canberra Olympic. Big fixtures coming up for both these sides. The right time of the year, the testing period for both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Tigers undefeated so far in the league, but this is the period that will really test their mettle as we round out the first half of the season. But then if they're in the mix of it come the pointy end of the season, it'll be a really interesting couple of weeks.
Sounds like it's the right time for a bye from my point of view. Here's Habtemariam. Looks for Namoski outside him. Habtemariam wants it back. It's good in tight spaces. Jeremy Habtemariam tries to wriggle his way through, gets a bit lucky there, but ball cut back. Opportunity here for Timotheo to strike one, and Bailey got a foot in. Whether or not Jacob Cole had that coverage, we'll never know, but important defensive touch from this Scottish fullback.
He's done well to get his boot in there. Just a little bit of a scuff clearance there, letting Gungahlin back in after it looked like the move had broken down. Just something that Tigers will need to be wary of with Gungahlin having so many numbers around the ball.
Well, it's a long way to come for Gungahlin, and they've certainly started very brightly. Opportunity from this set piece. See if they can hit a black and white shirt. Gone short to Timotheo. Might lift one towards the far post. A deflection cleared by Bailey. De Felipe completes the clearance. And here's a chance perhaps on the break for the Tigers. Shields finds Abbott. Huge amount of room on this near side if they can find Faresh. He picks it up. Looks for Abbott again. This is a good move this from the Tigers. Swings one in towards the far post. Acrobatic efforts from Michael Keita. That would have been a sensational finish. Didn't quite get it right. But what we saw in the break there was an example of why the Tigers score so many goals.
Absolutely. Farej did really well there with a ball that maybe wasn't the best for him to chip it over to Nick Abbott, and then that cross to find Keita at the back post. Would have been perfectly finished with that bicycle kick if it had come off. But yeah, looking very dangerous on the counter here when they win the ball off Gungahlin.
Look, if they come off, they're great, aren't they? And when they don't, it sometimes could make you look a bit silly, but Michael Keita does have that in his locker. He's got the ability to pull those kind of things off. Here's Gungahlin on the break with Habtemariam. Angelo Sante is peeled off into a pocket of space, but goes backwards to Gaspari. Rathjen. John playing very wide. Foot in again from Bailey. And he's landed awkwardly there, Darren Bailey. Winded himself, I think. Rathjen again.
He's a tough nut though, Darren Bailey.
A great signing, isn't he? Well,
yeah.
The Rhinos have certainly missed him defensively. Green to Nomoski. Good ball in as well, and it's a dangerous one in the 6-yard box, and there's Bailey again doing what he needs to do defensively. Tricky one that for Jacob Cole.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where you're not really sure to come for it or sit back. The defence ended up dealing with it, but a dangerous moment.
Habtemariam away from Farej. Rathjen. Switch of play to Green. Might line one up there, Jack Green. Does indeed. And it came off to Felipe. Shields. Taseski and space for Keita. Abbott's gone a little early. Shields is on the far post. And Keita's picked up neither of them. De Felipe's won it back. Touch from Shields. And a free kick given.
I think it's a general tug of the arm there from Nick Rathjen as De Felipe looked to chase Anthony Timotheo. Maybe one that's a bit unnecessary and really opens up a chance for Tigers.
The other end, Jack Green line won that from a long way out, didn't he? And it was an important block.
Yeah, absolutely. We know he can hit a ball well. He did quite a lot getting forward last weekend, actually. Against the Rhinos, started one move and finished it off as well. Was important. So we know he can contribute up the top end as well as being something vital for Gungahlin at the back.
It's one goal of the season. Scored after 70 minutes against the Rhinos last week. Here's Jose De Felipe with the Tigers free kick. Plenty of yellow shirts clustering around the top of the penalty area, looking for a touch. Deep one towards the far post, and plenty of Tigers players there unmarked, and Taseski was the one who got the touch.
I think Mark Shields was expecting that one at the back. It looked like it might have been dropping for him if Taseski hadn't got the touch, but again, another aerial chance for Tigers.
They got away from their markers very easily. Laguda. Big shout of handball against Taseski. Kita. Taseski again. It's turned over, and Gunners look to break rapidly, and the ball is in towards Michael John, and Cole's come to get there. Timotheo sends it back. Ambitious effort from the midfielder. It's going to fall for Rathjen. Tanini just whipped it down the line towards Kita. Looked like John was in there for a moment.
It looked like he just maybe backed out a bit, wasn't sure whether, maybe looking for a bit of miscommunication between the defender and Jacob Cole there, but the two of them dealt with it well, Darren Bailey and Jacob Cole. Maybe a little bit concerning how easily Gunners were able to feed someone in behind.
Well, Ferej is causing Abbas all sorts of issues down this Gungahlin right flank. Redmond only as far as Timotheo. Great ball that is to find Habtemariam. Plenty of space for him to work his magic. Taking on Tanini. Here's Namoski, real chance here, and Cole gets a hand on it. Needed to. Danger's not over just yet. Habtemariam's there once more. Looking to force his way past Paseski. Still going down in the area, and a free kick, is it, on the edge of the box? Very tight, that one.
Yeah, he's done really well there, Jeremy, with a bit of hold-up play and then causing one of his defenders to lunge in. Tigers maybe a bit unhappy they weren't able to get that one clear after the initial chance, but good sign so far for Gungahlin, but Jeremy Habtemariam down that left wing causing some problems early.
When he's on his game, he's difficult to play against, Jeremy Habtemariam. We've seen that across his career at Canberra Olympic and the aborted career he had at Canberra FC, which never really got off the ground due to a mix-up in the paperwork. But here he is at Gungahlin enjoying himself. Coming up to 20 minutes gone, free kick to Gungahlin. Dangerous position for the Tigers to defend. Gaspari looking to find an option. Swings it in there and it bounced inside the 6-yard box. Any sort of touch from Jack Green and it may well have been the opening goal.
Yeah, that's always a dangerous ball, floating it in so close to goal there. Like you said, needed only the smallest of nicks, but as it is, Tigers get out with a goal kick, and now they can look to build and put some pressure on the other end.
Said yesterday in commentary that I wasn't expecting a 0-0 today. There are too many good attacking players on the park, you would think, for that to happen. Great touch, Timotheo. Gaspari, two of the most creative midfielders you'd think in the league in the Gungahlin ranks. There's Timotheo's ball to Habtemariam. Slides it in for Angelo Santi. Can he get the shot away, the forwards? Didn't get enough power on it. Antonini was back to concede the corner.
Another good move there, though. Timoteo and Gaspari through the middle of the park. Tigers maybe not tight enough on their player in the middle at the moment.
Gungahlin sensing something here. Gaspari waves Namoski away from the set piece. He wants to deliver this one himself. His last free kick from closer in was dangerous, and this one swept in as well towards Cole on his front post. No, combination of goalkeeper, post and defender, I think, got that one away. Shields at the other end to Abbott, and this is where the Tigers can hurt you. Bailey bursting forwards, and he's got a couple of yards on Abbas here, Darren Bailey. Can he find a delivery? He can. A great ball in towards Abbott. I think it came off his arm, unfortunately, for the Tigers, but what a run forward again from Bailey.
Yeah, we saw
a fantastic cross too.
Saw him do that at Canberra FC last week to create the first goal, bombing forward into that top left corner. But you know, good signs for Tigers. They couldn't finish it, but they're moving really well on the counter attack. As you said earlier, Gerald Navas having a little bit of trouble with his direct opponents out on this wing, so it'll be interesting to see if they keep kind of pushing down this edge.
There's the advantage of having a naturally left-sided player on the left side. Could swing across in like that, which Abbott will be a little bit disappointed. He's gone down in a heap here, should get the free kick. Misko Namoski not impressed with Nico Abbott's, let's call it extra theatrics. I think he caught him on the top of the foot as he tried to flick it inside. They can be quite painful. I'm sure he's going to be okay though. Tigers won't want to lose their leading goal scorer. Hit the ground running, hasn't he, since his return?
Yeah, he's had a really good start to the season. I think he scored in the first 4 or 5 games of the year, tucked in a couple in the FFA Cup during the week, their win over Tuggeranong, and even had one disallowed. So he's certainly had his scoring boots on this season.
Free kick for the Tigers. Lifted in towards Keita, towering header from Green. Taseski tried to send it back. Neither side can get hold of it at the moment. Keita just prods it out towards Bailey. Low ball in towards Shields, but Laguda was there. Looks to get us underway quickly again. Habta Merriam. Timotheo on the turn. Tanini was back to just see that one out. Abbott's just past the 20-minute mark. Live on Bar TV, no goals. Michael John looking to rectify that situation. Lack of real clear-cut chances as well, Dave, apart from the one that Mark Shields wasted early on. Shields is on the back of this. We'll bring you in onto that point in just a second.
Yeah, you know, apart from that, I guess that one that you could say that Mark Shields spurned really early in the game inside the opening 3 minutes. You know, there's been some dangerous set pieces from Gungahlin, but nothing that Jacob Collars really had to keep out. They won't necessarily be disappointed by the lack of clear-cut chances they've created, but maybe they will have wanted a bit more from both sides from the attacking pressure they've put on.
De Felipe challenging with Green in the far corner. It's a very picturesque ground, isn't it, down here at Nijong? When that wind howls across there, you certainly know it. Everyone from the Canberra football community realises that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot out here, particularly on a clear winter's day like today. Obviously, our viewers at home can't actually see the chilly winds. However, yeah, a really beautiful afternoon here with the sun on our backs. Makes a nice glow across the pitch.
Yeah, everyone who's played here or been here knows exactly what we're talking about, though. That wind off the snowy mountains. Plenty of snow further up the road as well, I hear. U20's skiing. It's ski season started early. Shields on the turn in midfield. Into the challenge with Rashton, who does well to win the free kick. Just going back to the fixtures next weekend, we mentioned Tuggeranong against the Rhinos. Monero Panthers versus Woden at Western on Saturday, and on Sunday, Gungahlin United versus Canberra FC, Tigers versus Canberra Olympic. Cracking matches to look forward to on Bar TV next week.
Big weekend of fixtures, and obviously in the NPLW as well. We've got that grand final rematch on the Sunday afternoon that follows up. Tuggeranong taking on Wagga will be on Saturday.
We were at Hawker last night and saw Belconnen United maintain their unbeaten run at the top of the WNPL. 3-1 win over the Canberra United Academy. Did concede their first goal of the season, though, to give the rest of the league some hope. When Western winning remarkably well at Monero Panthers, a big 5-0 win we mentioned earlier for Mark Boyd and his team. Still waiting for our first goal here. Gaspari, Rathjen, John. Just bundled off the ball by Darren Bailey, 20 minutes to half-time. Bailey goes long, looks for the flick on from Shields, beaten by Abbas. Gaspari, nice first touch. And uses his strength to hold off Taseski. Good switch of play as well. Now Namoski, he lines one up from range in the first shot in anger, really, at goal. Always rising over the crossbar, though.
Yeah, no, an early sight for Misko there with the ball bouncing. The defender did well to pressure him just as he looked to hit it and help put that over the bar, but an early chance.
It wasn't going to test Jacob Cole from there, was it? Not from that range, didn't dip enough. Cole certainly had that covered. Felipe challenges. Up to Merriam, to Angelo Santi. Gaspari, Timotheu. Namoski's peeled away to the left. And the crossfield ball found him. Up to Merriam inside, goes alone, Namoski, but runs straight into the brick wall of Michael Keita. Not really happening for the Tigers in the front third at the moment, is it? Between Abbott and Shields, the usually deadly combination.
Yeah, there's a few passes have gone astray, or maybe sitting behind someone. They're doing well playing out from the back though, and they've defended pretty well so far.
It's unlucky from Bailey, and that's a good ball from Timotheo, and a very important touch from Spaseski. May have only delayed the inevitable. Here's Habtemariam, skipping inside. Opportunity here, but he goes for goal from a tight angle. When a drill ball across the 6-yard box might have been better, but that's what they can bring. An unfortunate error from Bailey, and Timotheo's first-time ball almost got Angelo Santi in, and a very important touch from Spaseski.
Just talking about how strong they look coming out from the back before that unfortunate turnover, and shows how quickly things can change. Again, Jeremy Habtemariam's quick feet causing some problems out that far side, but just couldn't keep his effort down.
Gungahlin certainly turning the screw a little bit. Good flick on from Di Felipe. Farej got away from Rathjen, but not Abbas. You can see what Di Felipe was trying there, just that little dab over the top towards Abbott. Laguda quick off his line. Green. Habtemariam, and let's look at that space again for Namoski on that flank. Timotheo let it come to him rather than attack the ball, and Farej was there. Won't keep that in though. Rathjen wants to go quickly, being urged to do so by his players. Bailey steps in and then rakes the ball forward, and a good 1-2 towards Abbott, who takes it in his stride. Shields is arriving, but Abbott goes himself and strikes it at goal. Claims the corner, but didn't get enough on it. But great ball from Bailey, and Abbott created the opening. Couldn't quite test Laguda.
A really good switch of play there. That low raking ball that just sat up perfectly for Nico Abbott on the break. As you said, showing how dangerous it is having a talented left footer like that playing out on his left side. Nico Abbott cut inside, couldn't quite finish. Maybe Mark Shields could have had a look at the back post, but good signs on the break for Tigers.
Good battle again from Di Felipe. Abbas wins it back. Bailey goes charging in, playing at 100 miles an hour when they go forwards. Bailey with the throw. Shields looks to turn, but Bernard Rene had him comfortably under control on that occasion. Good, happy to roll it out, isn't he? Get his team going forward as quickly as they can.
Yeah, haven't seen him really look long so far this game. Maybe something they've planned to do to stay in possession a bit longer coming out from the back.
It's not really the way Marcel Munoz football team plays, is it? As Tseski rather is back to smash that out of play.
Good touch from Jer Wilk.
Great touch,
out
I was
on
going
that
to say,
pitch.
from Jer Wilk. Assistant coach here, still got it. Former Tigers NPL player, of course. Namoski swings that one in. Angelo Santi unmarked on the far post. Looking for an option. There wasn't one behind him, and that's a chase on for Abbott. Laguda should have this covered. Rene. Green. Habtemariam in behind here for a moment. Opportunity here for Jeremy Habtemariam if he can get the shot away. Took a little too long, and a combination of Tonini and Keita robs him. Green's there in front of Shields. His first foray into Tigers territory, and it's a good 1-2 and a good ball in. Angelo Santi's there, and what a chance for Gungahlin. Headed it straight at Jacob Cole from no more than 3 yards, and that's one good chance at both ends.
Yeah, it's a really big chance there for Gungahlin. Jacob Cole's done well to hold that, not parried into the path of another forward who was coming in, but I think Gungahlin will rue that as a big missed chance just in this first half.
Anywhere but straight at Cole, and it's 1-0.
Yeah, pick the smallest target.
I think he was a bit surprised, Angelo Santi, that he had that much space free in front of goal, but there's a a glimpse of what Jack Green does when he goes forward. He caused havoc.
It's a bit deceptively quick, I think, for a guy his size when he gets moving. He can really beat a defender.
He lopes across the ground, doesn't he? Eats up the yards and then found the decent cross at the end of it. And both sides will feel they should have scored. As it is, it's still 0-0. Here's Paseski. Cole just dinks it forward, but he's only found Habtemariam, who's been the most creative player on both teams so far. Timotheo's pass gets it back again. Good hit as well, and that's another save from Cole. And Tigers can start to believe that they're getting some more shots on target now, Dave.
Yeah, Gungahlin finding a bit more to work with at the end of their moves forward. Another one there. That one, albeit created by a Jacob Cole turnover, I guess. A poor throw out from the back. There's a foul on Habtemariam in the middle of the park.
Yeah, Bojan Taseski, the man pinged by Delfina Domoski. One of the easiest decisions she's had to make. Just over the last 4 or 5 minutes, the Gunners have looked the more threatening in terms of goal scoring chances. Gaspari sends it out wide, and it's this left flank that's been the issue for the Tigers defensively. Here's Timotheo looking to prod it forward towards John. Lawrence Redmond's there. Only as far as Bernard Brenet. Nice cushion ball to Rathjen. Tried to put Timotheo into the channel, but Bailey was there. Abbott. It's away from Abbas. Bailey from Shields. That one's struck the Ute.
Looks like Gunners have made a change up top, Russ. Maybe Riley Angelo Sante swapping with Michael John and moving out to this side and popping Michael John back through the middle where they've done a bit more of their movement so far.
I think it's possibly one of his best positions, Michael John, because he can run those channels very well. Likes to run in between the centre-back and the full-back. We'll see if they can use his skills to find a way through. Gaspari with the free kick. And again they go to the left wing, and again it's Michael Keita's side. Here's Habtemariam. Keita gets a foot in. I think Gabby Wilk would like Michael Keita to contribute a bit more defensively, because it's causing Jared Tanini all sorts of problems on that Tigers right flank.
Yeah, Tanini being left with a lot of work to do at times so far. There's a good tackle from Michael Keita just there, but I think you'll need to rein in Jeremy Habtemariam a bit more consistently going forward if some of their problems would be alleviated down that flank.
It's almost if Tanini's been sucked in a little bit from the flank, and there's plenty of space out wide there, Dave, where they've been exploiting every single time. They've hardly come down this right-hand side at all.
Yeah, they've really been using that left edge. Jeremy Habtemariam seeming to have all the time in the world on the ball when he's got it.
Here's John looking to twist and turn. Timotheo, lovely ball over the top. Angelo Santi flag goes up. Must have been a tight one.
Tight one, good call from Thomas Gelatli on this near side. I think another little dangerous moment. Jacob Cole seemed to have it covered and came out well to claim the ball.
Delicious weight on the chip from Timotheo.
But maybe a little too much time on the ball for Gungahlin here.
Won by De Felipe. Shields helps it on. Abbas wins the battle with Bailey. Under pressure though, Bud Abbas, and beaten to it by De Felipe, who's penalised for a shirt pull. Fair to say the locals don't agree. And Bud Abbas, after a shaky start, has come into the game a bit more.
Yeah, he had some trouble with Husfarage early to start this one, but we know he's a good defender. Had a very good season in Canberra United's National Youth League squad this past summer, so it's no surprise to see him working his way into this game.
Great ball that from Green, finds John in a little bit of space, one-on-one with Redmond. Rathjen delivers it to the far post, but that should be easy for Cole. I think he lost it in the sun briefly and was forced to punch it out for a corner. Sun setting behind us, looking across the field. And Jacob Cole would have been staying straight into it as that cross from Rathjen came over. Gunners go short. Gaspari. Habtemariam twists and turns. No foul, says Delfina Domoski. There's going to be another corner. Jeremy Habtemariam asking the question.
I think he's been told he was already maybe going down, already falling down.
Asking the questions of the match officials. Getting a response in the negative. Here's Josh Gaspari with another corner. Plenty of movement in the middle. Cole comes. I think it was nodded out of his hands by Tonini.
It's been a bit go on at that far post from set pieces so far. Gungahlin have whipped a few balls into that area, and maybe a bit of miscommunication, or a few people not sure who's going for it.
But John's plonked himself right on the front post. Timotheo's running in late on the far post. It's in towards John. Cole got a touch. Keita half away. Gaspari to reload again. Into the 6-yard box. Bailey's there, as he has been for most of the game. And De Felipe with a calm clearance. Almost found Abbott. Good pressure from Gungahlin once again.
Yeah, they've managed to pin Tigers down a little bit as we've gone on in this first half. We mentioned before, obviously Tigers are happy to drop back and then look to work out on the counter. But Gungahlin maybe starting to get comfortable in their attacking half.
Angelo Santi trying to turn inside the area. Good solid piece of defending from Lawrence Redmond, that. Put his body in the way, the big centre-back. Real fine for the Tigers this season. He's helped with their defensive solidity.
Yeah, he's been excellent on the back, and he's proven a threat at set pieces as well. He's scored once or twice.
Got a liking for the Marte now, I think, Dave. I saw him with the Marte Cup at Deakin last week, since their pre-season tour of Argentina, the Tigers. Went away for 3 weeks, I think, didn't they?
They did, and a few people maybe questioned it and thought it was a bit too close, but they've started the season strongly, so can't be too much wrong with it, I guess.
It's paying dividends, isn't it? Unbeaten so far in both league and cup. Not having it all their own way today, though. Here's Gaspari. Went down the same flank again. You can see how Tonini's been sucked in to this near side, and that switch of play is where the problems are for Gabby Wilk and his team.
Absolutely, they've been caught out a couple of times, just giving too much space out there. Darren Bailey, maybe not as much to do defensively as he'd expect so far. A lot more happening on that far side, and it has caused Tigers problems, as you mentioned.
Keita, ping for handball. Lifted into his arm from close range. Sounds similar to something that happened this morning, Dave.
6 times, Russ.
Didn't see it, mate.
Penalty all day, you'd say.
Abbas sends it forwards. John's got away from Bailey briefly, who's back there to challenge. Timotheo, lovely touch to John, gets it back again, Timotheo. Dancing his way through, and he's found Nemoski in a bit of space. Sat up horribly for Nemoski. Sends it back into the 6-yard box. So he wanted the shot, didn't he? And it just bounced on him at the end. Timotheo's asking him the question, but I think poor old Mishka Nemoski hit him on the shin more than anything.
Yeah, bounced up a little bit just off the pitch. It's a really nice interplay there between Anthony Timoteo and Michael John, though, cutting in from this side. It's one of the few times they've kind of explored going down this channel. Still ended up on the left, but another chance for a set piece here for Gunners.
The deeper one this time into the area, and Cole, amongst a cluster of shirts, gets a good fist on it, pours it out for a corner on the other side. This one might be a bit trickier with the sunshine. Gaspari was jogging across to take it, but I think Timotheo wants it. 5 minutes to half-time. Plus stoppages, of course, of which I can't imagine there'd be too many. Lost count of the amount of corners that the Gungahlin side have had. Here's Gaspari, flicks it to the far post. Green comes in, and that, for Jack Green, is a really good opportunity that he's not taken.
It's usually so reliable, as an aerial threat with his head. I think he'll be more frustrated than anyone with how he's used that one. But a bit more concern for Tigers and how they've dealt with set pieces so far. But that's a couple of good chances now for Gungahlin.
The aerial threat seems to be the way forward for them at the moment. De Felipe wins in midfield. Teseski prods it wide towards Keita. There is Green. Advancing forward again. Off he goes on another one of his forward adventures. Timotheo might fall for Angelo Santi. John tries to turn. Still going, Michael John. Rathjen takes over. Flatter delivery. Good dummy that from Angelo Santi. You have to say that it's Gungahlin looking the more likely right now.
Yeah, they've created, I guess you'd say, more clear-cut chances, if we'll describe them as that last one from Jack Green in particular. Causing a few more problems for the opposition going forward than Tigers have, who haven't looked too settled when they've gone forward so far, Russ.
Nothing more dangerous, though, than the Tigers side who appear to be on the back foot, because suddenly they spring into life like they are now with Michael Keita. Looking to get the cross into the penalty area. Ferrej on the far post. Good header from Rathjen. Di Felipe thought about the shot. Still going, Di Felipe. And the deflection takes all the sting out of it. Easy in the end for Josh Laguda. And for once, he sends a kick down the field. Here's Habtemariam. Running at the defence again. Namoski. Chance for him to pull one back. Here's Michael John. Opportunity for him, and Bailey with a heroic block again. Great defending from Darren Bailey. And Michael John looked to pull the trigger.
Yeah, a couple of minutes before half-time, that's a really big block from Darren Bailey. We've seen him do that a couple of times. Maybe a bit of concern with how much space Gungahlin had to work with down there on the left. Michael John will probably be wishing he took one less touch and hit that almost first time as it came across. The defence did well to cramp him for space once he received it, and he wasn't really able to get a proper shot off.
Yet another corner from Josh Kaspari. Delivered to the near post. Easy for Di Felipe. Abbott. A bit of a peripheral figure at the moment, Nico Abbott. Hasn't really been an awful lot for him to do in the front third. Had that one shot earlier on, which didn't test Laguda. And Gunners ending the first half on the front foot. Green. Deep delivery. Cole comes to collect. More routine for the pink-clad goalkeeper, and he sends it forward towards Abbott. Abbas is there, though. Bailey's header. Timotheo. Gaspari. Green. Uncharacteristic. The poor pass there from Jack Green, and Taseski's found Abbott. Good change of direction for Keita. His touch lets him down, and here goes Green. Bursting forward and asking Namoski to take on the attack on the left side, and didn't get enough on it, the winger. But once again, it's down that left flank, and Gabby Wilt needs to do something about this at half-time, doesn't he? Otherwise, they're going to get one right sooner rather than later.
Yeah, they've had enough chances, Gungahlin, where they'll probably be disappointed with how it's happened. Tigers arguably lucky with the fact they haven't been properly punished for it yet, but a couple of minutes till half-time, as you mentioned, Gabby might look to make a change and shore up that side.
It's better from Michael Keita. Very firm challenge on Jack Green. Gunners with the throw. Habtemariam looking to turn. John with the strike. Comes for Angelo Santi, and that's off the back of Bailey for a corner as we enter stoppage time at the end of the first half, and Gungahlin ending the half strongly, as they have done since about halfway through.
Tigers will be desperate to keep this out. The last thing you want is a goal right on the stroke of the break.
Be a crucial time to break the deadlock. Josh Gaspari. Feels like about the 20th corner he's taken from that side. Another decent delivery. And this time, Ferrej got the touch, I think. And Bailey happy to send it down the touchline. Frustration from Nico Abbott. He wanted to pass to feet. It's been a frustrating day for the front two, I think, so far for the Tigers.
Yeah, I haven't seen that cohesiveness that we're so used to in the front third for Tigers. Too often they've been maybe let down by a stray pass or not the link-up they were looking for. So it'll be interesting to see what changes, if any, Gabby and Jer make it at half-time, and how we see Tigers approach the second 45.
Well, 15 goals between them, the front two, so you wouldn't write them off just yet. Here's Abbott looking for the back heel flick. Ferrej, it's 3-on-3 briefly. Abbott again. Looks to clip it towards Shields, who couldn't get the knockdown towards Di Felipe, and Delfina Domoski says that's enough for the first half. And David, it's been an interesting battle. Chances at both ends, and good chances too.
Yeah, back and forth early. I guess you'd say nothing really clear cut. Gungahlin starting to get on the front foot and pin Tigers back a little bit towards the end there, and we saw Jack Green head over, Darren Bailey make a couple of crucial blocks. Frank Barassi and his staff will probably arguably be the happier of the two. Maybe a little bit of work for Gabby and Joe Will to do at halftime here in Cooma.
Yeah, particularly on that right flank where Gungahlin have had the better of the game. But there has been 2 gilt-edged charges. Mark Shields early on for the Tigers headed wide when well placed, and Riley Angelo Santi had the freedom in the 6-yard box and headed straight at Jacob Cole, which means at half-time here in the NPL from Capital Football at Nijong Oval, it's Tigers FC 0, Gungahlin United 0. Welcome back to Nijong Oval, the second half of this MPL match between Tigers and Gungahlin United. It's 0-0 at the break. I'm Russ Gibbs here for the second half, joining me as he did in the first on the back of the ute, which is not too bad up here, is Dave Jordan from Capital Football. And Dave, decent half, chances for both teams, but Gungahlin United finished much the stronger and perhaps should be ahead.
Yeah, Gungahlin will probably be the side that you'd say might be disappointed with not being in front at the end of that 45 minutes, but big second half coming up here now for both sides. Like we said, two of the form teams in the competition should be cracking 45 minutes.
Well, let's see what Gabby Wilk has done with this right flank at half-time. He was having some choice words with his players when we wandered off to get a coffee at half-time. The Tigers' lineup in the second half looks exactly the same as the first, though. Cole in goal, Tonini, Spaseski, Redmond, Bailey, Keita, De Felipe, Taseski and Furej, Shields and Abbott. Gungahlin United, same 11 for them as well. Laguda in goal, Abbas Green, Rene, Rafjan Gaspari, Timotheu, Habtemariam, John Angelo Santi and Naumoski. And we're underway. Gungahlin attacking the goal to our left. In this half, there will be, thinking the only thing really missing from that first half performance was a goal. But as we mentioned, the Tigers are a dangerous side to play against. Shields, prodded forward by De Felipe. Rene sends it back. Here's Furej. De Felipe. And offside is the call. At half-time, Canberra Olympic, I've got to note that Canberra Olympic were 1-0 up.
1-0 up, Russ, courtesy of a goal from Emagoyo down at O'Connor, and full-time at Deakin, 2-1.
Big result for Canberra FC.
Big result for Canberra FC as they look to make ground back on Belconnen and Gungahlin.
Here's Naumoski, right-footed shots, and he's hit the underside of the bar. And Cole was stranded. A curling effort for Naumoski, the closest they've come. Looked for all money like it was going in.
Yeah, we got to watch that from the perfect angle there, Russ. You would have seen it on the camera. It just started a little bit out. Looked like it was curling around Jacob Cole for all money, but struck the bar and came out clear. Cole will be breathing a sigh of relief there, but dangerous signs early for the hosts here.
Fantastic effort from Misko Naumoski to cut inside, and once it left its right foot, it looked like it was curling in. They have to settle for a corner, Gungahlin. Plenty of shirts to aim for in the penalty area. One of them, of course, is Jack Green, but Cole plucks it from his head and sends it forward, looking for Abbott, who brings this down. Could have been a chance. It was 3-on-2 in favour of the Gunners, but Abbott couldn't control the kick. Bright start to the second half. That's what we like to see. Hopefully a bit more goalmouth action.
Yeah, we saw a really early chance for Tigers in the first half, the opening 3 minutes this time. Gungahlin striking the bar inside the opening 2 minutes. So starting brightly, but both sides need to make sure they carried on through the rest of the 45.
Just a recap of yesterday's MPL results. At Melrose, it finished Woden Western FC 2, Tuggeranong United 0, Joe Lawless and Alex Olorigby with the goals for Woden Western. Belconnen United, a young Belconnen United, 7 of their matchday squad were under 18. They beat Monero Panthers 4-0. John O'Lear, Max Mellick, Adrian McCaw and Dustin Wells with the goals there. A young side, so much so that Adrian McCaw was described as experienced in one report I read of that.
Yeah, a very young outfit for Steve Forshaw. At least he wouldn't have to worry about them getting into too much trouble after the game, celebrating. But a good performance there and a much needed 3 points for Steve's side.
Canberra Olympic, which I'll tell you about in a second, ball swung towards the far post. Canberra Olympic win top of the MPL with an 8-1 hammering of Riverina Rhinos at the AIS. 4 goals for Stephen Dominici, a couple from Kofi Danning, a goal from 15-year-old Seb Woods, Amir Adam as well, and an absolute belter from Keith Jackson for the Rhinos in response.
Should have been worth a couple.
Should well have been. Got a good one against Gungahlin as well, Jackson.
Yeah, he's been in good form, a bright spot the last couple of weeks for the Rhinos in a tough patch.
Work to do for them. Bailey swings it to the front post, nodded into a danger area more than anything by Gaspari. Gungahlin get away with it though. Here's Tonini, and he's almost caused himself an issue. Touch from Green, and looked to find Habtemariam, but Jared Tonini was in the way. Green goes long with the throw. Habtemariam's peeled into some space here. Will look to take on Tonini. Still going Habtemariam. Gaspari. Move slows down somewhat, but Gaspari tries to initiate it again with a good cross in. Well nodded clear by Redmond. Ferej. Here's a chance if Felipe can get there ahead of Abbas, who steps across his line and defends it well, the youngster. We mentioned in the first half he started off a little shakily, didn't he? But since then, he's hardly put a foot wrong.
He's done a good job. You know, after those opening exchanges, we haven't seen a whole lot of Ferej since those opening minutes.
Here's Shields trying to get an effort on target. Didn't catch it because it took a deflection off of Jack Green for a moment there. It looked like Abbott was going to steal in behind the big centre-back. Upshot is a corner for the Tigers.
Something about this end and corners.
I couldn't understand
in the first half.
Yeah, I couldn't understand what Gabby was telling his team at half-time because quite a lot of it was in Spanish, but I don't think from the tone that was coming across it was very, very, what's the word I'm looking for there, Dave? Nothing like a
complimentary.
Complimentary, yeah, there we go. Thank you for that. And they seem to have taken it to heart because here they are on the front foot looking to open the scoring. Bailey swings it into the danger area and a header on the far post was from Redmond, of Teseski rather, who had got forwards. The midfielder rose highest.
Some tall timber in there for Tigers that can prove a threat, Russ. We spoke about Lawrence Redmond's aerial prowess earlier, so I think from set pieces they'll certainly be looking to plant it on his head.
Laguda goes short to Abbas. Towards John, who looks to roll Bailey. Been a good battle this one, Michael John and Darren Bailey. You'd have to say on the balance of it, the Scottish defenders probably had the better of it.
He's had a very good two-way performance so far. You spoke earlier about his ability to swing it across off his left foot, coming down that wing, which is so valuable, but also tracking back and helping to quieten down Michael John, who's been so good for Gungahlin so far this season.
Big Aberdeen fan, Darren Bailey. Haven't won a trophy for a while, I don't think. I'm sure they'll let me know. Otherwise, it's mostly Celtic, isn't it? Treble for them. And Tommy Rogic.
It's a familiar name around these extended parts, I guess. Not quite in Canberra today.
I'm going to say Canberra, but a bit further out. A bit further afield today. The sun's going down behind us, which means that temperature will drop by about 25 degrees soon. And Daniel on the camera will freeze. There's Teseski in midfield. Does well, finds Keita. Looks to step away from Habtemariam. Teseski again. Couldn't force it through to Abbott, and there's Green with the ball forward. It's a great one too, and Michael John's got in behind here. Real chance for John to take it on, and Michael John opens the scoring for Gungahlin United. He needed composure, he had composure. It's taken just 7 minutes in the second half, and what they threatened in the first 45 has come to pass. The Gunners are in front.
You can see the celebrations here, Russ. That's a big goal for Gungahlin. We spoke about them, how dangerous they were in that first half, and it's really only taken the second really good chance. They struck the bar early. That was a really good ball forward to Michael John. Took it really well in his chest, brought it down, had patience, under pressure, and just slotted into the corner.
Fantastic delivery from Jack Green. John not only had the composure to bring it down, but he had the strength to hold off the challenge and the calmness to slot it past Jacob Cole. And the game gets the goal it needed, I think.
Not too many times, I think, Russ. Tigers have found themselves trailing so far this season, particularly not at Nijong.
Well, here they are looking for an immediate response with Keita in the penalty area, and he settles for the corner. Thought he might have pulled the trigger there. But this is going to force the Tigers to push forward more and more as well, so we should be in for a belting second half. De Felipe to take the corner. Keita wants it short. There's no one near him if he does go short, but I think De Felipe is going to go longer. Swings it into the area, and there was a chance. Teseski again. Good piece of defending. Another corner. What can De Felipe do this time? Swings it into the danger zone. Laguda got half a hand on it. Abbott fires it back in. Straight into the midriff of Bud Abbas, who sends it clear. Up towards Michael John, the goal scorer. Fourth of the season for Michael John in all competitions, his third league goal. took it so well.
A good start to life at Gungahlin after coming across from Canberra Olympic, where he was always such a threat. Playing in Frank Caish's side there. We've seen him a couple of times in games this season, dropping a lot deeper to receive the ball. He's so powerful, driving forward through the middle of the park, not only to score for himself, but to create for others. That was just an example of his all-round ability that we just saw there.
He held a unique record for a while, Michael John. He was involved in the 3 squads that first got to the FFA Cup round of 32 in Canberra. Was involved in the Gungahlin United squad that got there in 2015, couldn't play because of a registration issue. Moved to Gungahlin United, to Canberra Olympic, was part of their team as well, and a part of the Gungahlin United side that played in the FFA Cup round of 32 as well. Don't think he took the field for Olympic, was injured. But it was a stage that if you wanted to qualify for the FA Cup round of 32, you just had to sign Michael John. It's almost a given. Here's a chance for Farej. Been beset by injuries, unfortunately. MJ, as he's known. But looks like to be coming to the fore this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you can talk up a player and you just don't get to see enough of them due to injuries. But he's one of those players where now he's getting a full run of fitness underneath him. That we're really seeing what he can do in a talented side as well. Gungahlin pushing forward now.
Timotheo looking for John again, and Cole came, and it's a good piece of defending by Bailey just to see him off. Dangerous again for Gungahlin. Bailey sends that up the field. Abbas is there. Gaspari finds Green. As the shadows lengthen across the field, the whole field now out of the sunshine. Habtemariam. Good run this from Timotheo into the area if he can force it back. So it wins the corner. And whilst it's good for the camera, not so great for us.
I didn't think we cast that much of a shadow, Russ, after lunch. It's definitely cooling down a bit here. It's going to be interesting to see how the players go with the rest of the game. At least they're running around out there, but certainly a brisk afternoon down here in the snowy mountains.
Corner for Gungahlin. Just had a note, the font of all knowledge, Frank Caisha tells me that MJ did play in 2017 against Sorrento. Missed the 26 campaign, but played in the 2017 game against Sorrento, which they lost 1-0 over in Perth.
Bevy of chances in that clash Olympic had. Now, probably unlucky to come out on the wrong end of it.
Abbott's down in an absolute heap in the middle of the park. Plays continues. And there's a little bit of afters from Bailey and Habtemariam in the corner. Nothing untoward. Handbags, really. But Abbott got caught in the middle of the field and he hasn't moved. Can always rely on Frank Caisha to send a stat or two.
Obviously enjoys listening to us on a Sunday afternoon.
I think he rather enjoys watching it rather than listening to me and you, Dave, to be perfectly honest. But we'll take it. Free kick to Gungahlin. He's probably nice and warm.
Yeah, that's one thing he's got going for him, I guess.
You haven't even put your big coat on yet, Dave. You're fine.
Resilient. That's the word I like to use.
You've been called worse. Timotheo with the free kick. Only 4 Gungahlin shirts on the back post. Michael John hovering around the penalty spot. What's the delivery like? Decent towards Green. Nodded clear by Redman. Comes to Rene. He lines one up from range and his eyes lit up for a moment. Bernard Rene didn't quite get hold of it as well as he would have liked. But happy to send that towards the river that runs behind the goal. Farej to swing it around the corner. Gaspari's there. Now John's peeled wide. Sends it in towards Angelo Santi. Important touch from Bailey. And just drills it forwards. And Rene is there to clear. Movement on the bench for Gungahlin. For the Tigers, I should say. Might be seeing some changes as Gabby looks to fire his team back into this one. Conceding that early goal wasn't ideal from their point of view. Is Taseski bursting forwards. Abbas sees him off. Good solid piece of defending from Bud Abbas. About a quarter of an hour gone in the second half. The goal from Michael John separating the sides. Darren Bailey wants a free kick, and in fact it's gone against him. Jeremy Habtemariam wore the full force of the left back there.
Just kind of managed to get himself in the path of Darren Bailey then, who often only has one speed going forward, as we saw down this wing in the first half.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything by half. It's all or nothing. And Jeremy Habtemariam bore the full force of that one. The upshot is a free kick to Gungahlin. A win today will put Gungahlin on 10 points. We'll put them within touching distance of the 4 as well, which is a remarkable recovery. Remarkable recovery for that. Habtemariam goes down, and this is going to be a yellow card for Darren Bailey. The first of the afternoon. There was a send-off in the under-20s game, which Gungahlin won quite convincingly in the end. Early send-off in that one after about 7 minutes. Chance for Gungahlin to load this into the penalty area. Josh Kaspari orchestrating things, goes short, and Habtemariam's peeled away here. And if you can get this across, it's an opportunity. Habtemariam dancing in the penalty area, pulls it back, but Jacob Cole was ready. Sends it downfield as soon as he can. Shields tries to win it. Abbas beats him in the air. Bailey pops it back into the corner, but there's been a big gap between the midfield and the front two today, isn't there, for the Tigers?
Yeah, interesting choice there from Jacob Cole to go long from the goal kick. Apart from Shields and Abbott, there wasn't really a lot happening. If Shields did, bring it down successfully, it's likely surrounded by defenders, so maybe a time to slow it down a bit and look to work it out from the back.
Green does that for Gungahlin with a well-measured pass to Nomoski, who hit the crossbar in the early stage of the second half. Just to switch play. Bailey's got there and nods it back to his keeper. Good piece of defending. Don't mind a crossfield ball, do they, the Gunners?
No, we certainly saw it in the first half. Switching the same way we're looking now, but out to Jeremy Habtemariam on that left wing in the opening stages of the game, and they're looking to do more of the same here.
Better from Shields. Now here's Farej. A little bit of space for him to work something perhaps, and he's overrun it. Abbott wanted the early delivery and is frustrated that he didn't get it. Farej, who scored his first goal of the season last week in that 1-1 draw with Canberra FC. Oh, that's a horrible bounce for Jack Green as well. And that's what happens sometimes when you play out from the back on what's a less than pristine surface, let's say. Here's Abbott. Going to fire it across the penalty area. Gaspari's touch is good, finds Habtemariam. And he's caught by Keita, nothing into it. Good ball from Abbott to Keita. Shields takes over. Looks to wrap his foot around it and find a gap, but there's no doing. Forced to come out to Bailey. Bailey lines one up, drives it goalwards. Decent save by Laguda. Diving low. Good shot from Bailey. Good save from Laguda, and decent football all around that.
It's a really well-struck shot from Darren Bailey. Made Josh Laguda work to get down low to that, and just snuck it. Managed to push it around the edge of the post, sorry. Good signs for Tigers pushing forward.
Decent save. Ball swung in. Rene with the header. First real time that Laguda's had to make a save, and it's a good one as well, because that was fizzing across the surface here. Bailey caught that so well. Throws it into Shields. Back to goal. Tries to force it round the corner, and it almost fell for Abbott, and Green was in the way. Here's Michael John. Angelo Santi's peeled away to the left, lets it run for Nomoski, who's got acres of space down this flank. This was the flank that was the problem in the first half. Nomoski taking on Tonini, fires it across goal. Cole flapped. John keeps it in. Timotheo in support. Gaspari. Josh Gaspari looked for the 1-2, and it's a good one from Habtemariam. He went down into the challenger Redmond, who just stood his ground. Keita shields into the channel. Renee with him. And Bernie Renee steps across to win the ball. Habtemariam. Crossfield ball again, just a little too high for Michael John.
Change for Tigers. Now Russ.
Seski's coming off. And it's Dimitri Paraskos, who was in the starting lineup that we were given at the start. And
the change to the lineup that we originally had. Looks like our starting 11 now on paper.
Well, Paraskos will drop into the middle of the park. Could only imagine there was maybe a tweak or something that he felt in the warm-up, maybe. Or maybe Gabby just forgot which team he was going to give us. Taseski came on very early last week, of course, in the 1-1 draw at Deakin when Tony Medafari went down injured. They've missed him today on the wing. His energy. He's in a Mosky. Swings it across field to John. Timotheo. John wanted it back. Anyone else apart from Redmond, and that was probably finding him.
This is, of course, a team that played 90 minutes during the middle of the week, so it may just be a case of tired legs for Dimi Paraskos. He played the full 90 on Wednesday in that cup win against Tuggeranong.
Yeah, fairly heavy pitch down there at Greenway as well, wasn't it? So
yeah.
There's the first involvement for Paraskos, and Habtemariam's been in the wars the last 5 minutes or so.
Dimi Paraskos maybe not quite sure what sport he got subbed on for just then, going in a bit high on Jeremy Habtemariam, who's staying down.
Eating up a few seconds.
Gungahlin now forcing their opponents to chase the game, and they're now going to have to push forward a lot more here. Another goal over at O'Connor Russ, Canberra Olympic, up 2-1 over the Wagga City Wanderers in the MPLW over there.
Looking to cap a good week, Canberra Olympic. 3-2 winners on Thursday night against Monero Panthers in the WMPL. Their first win of the season, that was. We've been waiting 6 or 7 rounds for one, and looks like they might get 2 in 3 days.
Brindabella up big over Southern Tablelands in MPL2 this afternoon, currently 4-0 through the second half. They're looking for their first win down at Everlasting Close this afternoon.
That leaves the pressure on Jeremy Butler and his group. Struggled for goals this season. 4 of them in one afternoon so far. His Timotheo might open up for him here. Only as far as Di Felipe. Now Abbott. Keita, Shields wants it early. Peeled away to that left-hand side. Farej is with him, and Abbas has a problem here. It's 2-on-1. Shields looked for Abbott and got it all wrong. The forwards. MPL2 competition holding up quite nicely.
Yeah, O'Connor jumping into top spot with a win last night against White Eagles in one of the biggest games of the season for both of those sides. And a really strong contest there. No promotion this year up to MPL1, but certainly a few sides showing they'll be in the mix for it next year.
Yeah, setting the standard really for the next season, and these sides will be hoping to build the framework this year and then build up to get promotion to MPL1 and perhaps play the likes of the Tigers and Gungahlin United. Paraskos battling in midfield. Timotheo looks for Nomoski, who switched wings, and that's a lovely ball again from the midfielder. Tries to find Habtemariam. Redmond needs to be alert, and he's been robbed by Jeremy Habtemariam into the area. And was there a slight shirt tug there?
Maybe so. Jeremy stayed on his feet and kept chasing the ball. He's won his team a corner, but just a little lapse of concentration on the ball there, allowing Jeremy Habtemariam to steal in, create another chance for his side.
Timotheo's going to wander across to take the corner. Can't believe you're not tempted by your big coach right about now, Dave. As that wind starts howling across the field. Flatter delivery this time, good one too, but a foul by John on Cole. Pleads his innocence, the man whose goal separates the two sides here at Nijong Oval.
Thanks for reminding me I had this coat.
Thought you were just trying to prove a point. Keita. Gaspari treads on the ball. Keita takes over. The runner out left is Farej, and he's looked for him with a crossfield pass. Farej into the penalty area. Di Felipe challenging with Laguda. And the Gungahlin goalkeeper clutches the ball. Another good acquisition for him this year from Marcel Munoz' team. The goalkeeper, Josh Laguda, has been playing very, very well.
Anchoring that best defence in the league that we were talking about. Just 4 goals all up and only 2 since their loss in their first game of the season.
Well, big moment here because Jose De Felipe has talked himself into 10 minutes on the bin. And in fact, he's talked himself into a red card. What's happened there? Was that Jose De Felipe? I think it is. Not a happy boy. And we said something, of course, to the official, and he's got himself a 10-minute sin bin, and it's been overturned into a red card. So something must have happened. It must have been fouled on abusive language, Dave.
Yeah, that's a big moment in this game. Obviously, the temporary dismissals brought in this season to help alleviate and stop some of the dissent towards match officials, and that's been escalated now to a red card. So something said there that you really hope not to hear. So that's a big loss for Tigers, and a big boost for Gungahlin, already up by a goal and now by a man as well.
Well, it's going to make it difficult for the Tigers with 20 minutes remaining to find a way back into this. Handball against Jack Green. Abbott goes early. He's not going to get away with that one. He's probably happy that he's got a second chance. You can see Jose De Felipe trudging off behind the goal. Whatever he said obviously didn't go down well with Delfina Domoski in the middle. Gave him the chance with the sin bin, and then another bit of a chat as he walked off. Sees him walking further from the naughty chair into the changing room. Darren Bailey for the 10 men. Clips it to the far post. Shields wins a header across goal, and Laguda's there, looking to rush it and get on with it and take advantage of this extra man. Here's Michael John. Happened to marry him in midfield. Good read by Tonini. Off he goes. Draws in 3 defenders. Finds Keita, wants it back. Shields instead. Good kill. And then volleys it over the crossbar. Not been at his prolific best this afternoon in front of goal, Mark Shields, dating back to that 3rd-minute effort.
Maybe slightly off the pace today. He hasn't always had perfect delivery to him. Obviously, that that early header that you mentioned, but otherwise maybe just a little off his usual best, and he won't be impressed with how he's played today, I don't think. Looks like Zach Barbatano, I think, coming on there for
Riley Angelo Santi.
Gungahlin United.
Yeah, Angelo Santi's led the line well today. Zach Barbatano will offer a different kind of challenge to the Tigers defenders. Not as physically imposing as Angelo Santi. Box of tricks though. Zach Barbatano, 2 goals this season, 1 in the league and 1 in the cup.
Another player who really impressed for Dean Goodinch in the Canberra United NYL side this past summer. Came in maybe as a youngster, not expecting to play too much of a role, and then really made a name for himself.
Abbott and Green collides, and the free kick will go against the Tigers striker. Good stretch from Paraskos in the middle there. Hope he warmed up properly, because I felt that from here.
My hamstrings aren't moving far in this weather, Russ.
My hamstrings haven't moved far for many years, Dave.
No, not since when you used to score loads and loads of goals, Russ.
All of them from 5 yards. Not much hamstring strength from that range, mate. Here's Keita. Shields tries to help it wide, and he does. Good ball too, finds Farej. Wants it back, Mark Shields. Strikes it goalwards. It's a brilliant equaliser. Mark Shields finally finds his range and side-foots it past Laguda, and the 10 men are back on terms. Tigers 1, Gunners 1.
Just discussing, Russ, how he hadn't maybe had his best day out. He did really well to help that ball onto Husfarej out on the left. When that ball came back in, had a bit of time, but just instead struck it first time, and entering the final 20 minutes here at Nijong, that's a really big goal for Tigers.
Huge equalising goal. He's been trying to take the leather off the ball the last couple of times he struck it, and this time he just places it calmly into the corner. He's done himself a disservice as well. Him and Abbott haven't got back there yet, and I think Mark Shields has injured himself when he scored, whether either that or he's injured himself in the celebrations afterwards. But big equaliser for the Tigers. Shields on target, 1-1. And Gaspari has tried his luck from halfway. Jacob Cole rather disdainfully watches that one go by.
It's an ambitious attempt there just from kick-off.
Certainly was, but that's going to make for a lively last 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, back on level terms, as we mentioned. The Tigers obviously down a man now, but with a bit of momentum after that goal.
As we said, ironically, just after we were saying that he's not had his radar on this afternoon, Mark Shields, and then does exactly that. Finds his 5th goal of the season in all competitions. Perhaps none as important as that one, though. Here's Barbatano. John's got a bit of space. Look to send it in towards Namoski, who'd create a bit of room for himself. Well, certainly the second half has been very, very good, Dave. Plenty of chances and a couple of goals. Opportunity for the Gunners to try and re-establish their lead. Bailey, though, no nonsense clearance. If you just tuned in, you've missed the red card. Jose De Felipe sent off for the Tigers and 2 goals. Michael John giving Gungahlin the lead, only for Mark Shields to equalise. 2 former Canberra Olympic players, 2 former Tuggeranong United players on target for the respective clubs today. Gaspari. Timotheo clips one elegantly to the far post. Good kill from Namoski. Chips it in. Chance for Habtemariam. Still might fall for Barbatano. Creates it himself. Opportunity here, and it's turned in from close range by Jeremy Habtemariam, and the Gunners have their lead back. It was a calamitous piece of defending. They couldn't get rid of it. And in the end, Habtemariam prods it home from close range, and Gungahlin are back in front.
Well, that's a crazy last kind of 10 or 15 minutes. We've had Russ a lot of action, as you mentioned. Tigers really failing to get the ball out of the area there with a bit of pressure. Gungahlin really making the most of it. A scrappy goal, but they're back in the lead, so I'm sure they'll take it.
Great skill by Zach Barbatano in that lead up to just flick it over the head of the defender and send it back into the danger area, and Habtemariam really couldn't miss from a couple of yards out, and he didn't. His 4th of the season, and Gungahlin were on level terms for about 3 minutes.
It's that bag of tricks you were talking about too from Zach Barbatano there, just making the most of a tiny bit of freedom in the box, flicking the ball over the defender's head and squaring it up for Habtemariam.
Well, they've come from one behind already this afternoon, the Tigers. Can they do it again? It's a real coach killer when you concede straight after you've equalised. Credit in that build-up as well, though, to Anthony Timotheo's crossfield ball and Mishka Namoski killing it on a dime to send it back into the danger area from whence the goal came. Here is Barbatano, who played a major part. Namoski. Barbatano again looking for the return, but Tonini's there. Interesting celebration as well from the Gunners boys in the corner to find out what that was all about.
Yeah, not really sure what was on down there. A few younger fans running on maybe down in that corner. Need to be careful about doing that, but there's certainly been a lot to Jeremy and his teammates there, putting his side ahead.
Got involved in the celebration. They left quickly enough. Corner for Gungahlin. Gaspari to take. Looking to swing this one into the danger zone. It's a flat delivery. Might come for Habtemariam, and he's got that all wrong.
It's almost gone for a throw-in.
It's a good ball towards Scott Boone out on the touchline. Fair to say, didn't connect with that as well as he did a moment ago. Time ticking away for the 10-minute Tigers to get back into this. 12 minutes plus stoppage time. Dave's hands are turning blue. Should have brought your gloves. Rookie error.
Thank you for mentioning my lack of gloves again.
Gaspari finds Green. Lots of room for Jack Green on that left foot. He tried his luck from distance. It's come off of Paraskos, who was defending. Namoski. Green. Gaspari. Habtemariam. Timotheo. Neat little football in and around the area. Falls for Shields. Abbott wants it wide. Has it. Looks for Shields again, and that was almost a great delivery. Rene was in the way, though, and Green can bring it clear. Namoski back to Green again. Barbatano, Green continuing his run forwards. Namoski's come away to the left-hand side. Green's made the run into the penalty area. And Redmond saw him coming. Great take from Barbatano, and there's the trickery with the feet again. Picking his way through. Timotheu. Rathjen. Now Habtemariam. Rathjen again. And this left that a bit short for Gaspari, and Shields was in to pick it up for Tigers. Abbott. Picking for handball again. Cutting a frustrated and isolated figure, Nico Abbott. Well, Miško Namoski will be in no real rush to get on with this. They've left him completely unmarked again, the Tigers down this flank. It has been noticeable throughout the whole game, the amount of room that they've had on this side of the field, and in the first half, of course, the far side.
As you mentioned, Tigers maybe getting sucked in a little bit just from this left edge. Again, Jared Tonini having a track right inside to follow Zach Barbatano.
And leaving Namoski, who's clever enough to see that space with half of Kuma to play in.
As we say that, he drops right into the middle of the pack.
He's been around a long time, Miško Namoski, and he's still got a really good engine and work rate to get up and back. And plays a pivotal part in this side.
It's a young side, so having an experienced head like that can do a lot, particularly in a situation like this where you're trying to manage the clock and see out a close game.
It looks well balanced as well, doesn't it? All around the field. Just under 10 minutes remaining. Farej gets away from the first challenge. Gaspari and Abbas double team up on the far side to take it back off him. Here is Gaspari. The run's been made by Barbatano down the middle, but Cole saw it coming from a mile off and was always on his toes. Then rather slices it, his clearance, and wants Paraskos to help him out. Keita. Nice feet from Keita. Habtemariam pulls him back. Should be an advantage here, maybe. It doesn't accrue, so a yellow card here for Jeremy Habtemariam. Don't think he can really argue with that. The score of the second Gungahlin goal.
Bit early for swapping shirts, I would have thought, Russ.
Yeah, Keita showing his class as an attacking threat. You mentioned off-air that he's more of a midfielder, a central midfielder, and we've seen him in a wider position today, and sometimes he's being caught out defensively. Have seen him play at fullback a lot, though, but I think he's a bit better further forward.
Has been drawn off his man a few times today, as we spoke about, and Jared Tonini playing a role as a result of that.
Bailey, flat delivery, easy for Gaspari. Bailey, a lonely figure here at the back, the only yellow shirt. Joined quickly by Redmond. There was 3 Gungahlin shirts against him there if it had broken. Paraskos. Rathjen nicks it off him, and now it's 3-on-3. And here come the black and white shirts flooding forward. John finds Namoski. There's not many Tigers shirts getting back to help out either. Namoski swings it across and couldn't find Rathjen. There just seems to be that extra energy in this Gungahlin team.
Almost a second wind late in this half. Russ, they just seem to have a bit more in the legs pushing forward. We mentioned Tigers playing 90 minutes during the week. Whether or not that's playing a factor, who knows, but really looking maybe the more likely side to nab the 4th goal of this game.
The sending off of Jose De Felipe certainly not helping the Tigers' course. And depending on what he said, he might be in for a lengthy ban. But we won't speculate on those matters. We'll let the judiciary take its course. Still time, though, for Tigers to get back into this. Bailey helps it on his way. Bernard Rene calls Laguda towards it, and again, happy to take their time. No real rush for the goalkeeper. Goes short to Gaspari. Next season he'll be able to play that to him inside the penalty area under some of the new rules changes. Worth getting your head around those for next year. Plenty of them, including the handball rule, which is going to cause 1 or 2 problems.
Can you catch it now?
You could do what you like. I don't think any. I think it's any handball inside the area is an automatic penalty, no matter, even if it's chipped into your arm or. However, may have read that wrong, but that's how I read it this morning. Green wins the header. Namoski Keita's there. Nomoski back to challenge with Tanini. Gaspari. Good feet. Finds Rene. Rafjin. Important touch. Finds Timotheu. And he goes to Barbatano, and it's a race between Barbatano and Cole gets there and rather cheekily flicks it over Barbatano and got the second ball forward. Confident goalkeeping. Look at Shields battling with 3 players and does well to win a free kick there. Confident bit of goalkeeping.
Yeah, absolutely. That's some really good hold-up play there from Mark Shields. His last 15 minutes or so has been very strong, and winning a free kick there when he was 1 out against 3, it's a very important piece of play, and Darren Bailey can pop the ball into the area now for Tigers.
Not many strikers better with his back to goal in the league than Mark Shields. Here's Bailey looking to deliver it in towards the far post. Chance here for Redmond across goal! And there was no one in a yellow shirt to either turn it in, and Redmond's header flashes across the 6-yard box.
It's an excellent ball from Darren Bailey. Really well weighted, and even better header back across goal for Lawrence Redmond. It was on a platter for anyone at that back post. Nico Abbott maybe just a fraction late to get there, and that's a big chance gone begging for Tigers FC as we enter the final 5 minutes of this clash.
Is that the last chance they're going to get as well with the 10 men? It was completely unmarked. Lawrence Redmond coming in. Bailey wins a header. Abbott. Rathjen steps forward from midfield. Nomoski again with heaps of space down this near side. Running at Tanini. Barbatano. Looking to take on Parascos. Stands up well. Slides in to win the ball. Wins himself a throw, does he?
Goal kick it might be, I think. It's a good tackle there from Tony Spaseski. Just at the back, another member of that NYL side. He's had a really strong start to the season thus far.
Yeah, beg your pardon, was Spaseski who made the challenge. Good one too. Shields swings it in towards Abbott, and Green needs to get there and did. Great ball in that.
Another really good ball in from the left there. Nico Abbott lurking, needing Jackarine to head that one over the crossbar. They're creating some chances here, Tigers, but with time winding down, they really need to take one sooner rather than later.
Spaseski's jogged from his defensive position to take up a spot in and around the penalty area. A penalty spot, I should say. Moving up towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Abbott on corner duty, swings it in. Redmond on the far post, prods it back into the danger area, and there's a bit of a scramble. And Laguda, I think, has come up with a ball. It's almost like a rugby ruck.
Who's going to let go first?
Bailey was in there as well, but Redmond again showing his aerial prowess on the far post. Here's Green. Habtemariam. Green again. Nomoski. Barbatano wants it, runs in behind Spaseski. Redmond's come across to close down the angle. Barbatano takes him on, and past Spaseski as well. Habtemariam. Timotheu. Neat idea, didn't quite come off. Time the enemy for the Tigers. Ticking away, and once again Abbott is penalised for handball. A couple of minutes plus stoppage time to go, and that's 5 or 6 times that Nico Abbott's been picking for handball today, isn't it?
There's been a few of those ones today, maybe just people not used to the bounce of the ball or what. Just striking the arm instead of the chest. Tom McLaughlin looking like he's going to replace Misko Nomoski here for Gungahlin United. Time winding down.
Yeah, maybe just to stiffen the defensive resolve for Gungahlin United in these final few minutes. And also Misko Nomoski being the farthest player away, as it takes a little bit longer to walk off. Or is that just me being a bit cynical?
6 of this, half a dozen of the other, Russ.
Habtemariam will take up a position on the left wing. Tom McLaughlin will drop into midfield. Gaspari gets it short. Timotheu steps away from the challenger, Parascos. Looks to slide it through to Barbatano. Here's Michael John. Good challenge, Tony Spaseski. Stood firm when he needed to. And Bailey asks Shields to chase with Rene. And he's going to get pulled up there, the striker. Good experience defending from Bernard Rene. Just stepped across his marker into the last minute and 20 seconds, plus a little bit of stoppage time.
Really good use of the body there, puts the onus on the attacking player coming in from the back to not foul. Very experienced defending there from Bernard Rene.
Rathjen turning. Abbas to send it down beyond Redmond. Paraskos. Turn over to Rathjen. Now here's Barbatano. Space for Habtemariam. Timotheo goes outside him and just doesn't have any power in the shot. Good chance that for the Gunners. Good clearance that from Cole. Bailey wants to throw, and it's going to go Tigers' way as we enter the final seconds of the match. They'll need to launch this into the penalty area, and Darren Bailey is sending every single person forward except for Tanini. Jacob Cole is on the halfway line for the Tigers as they cluster everyone in and around the area. Bailey with a long throw, won by Redmond, as you would imagine. Keita wants it, might fall. Challenge goes in, and the referee says free kick right on the edge of the box. And the Tigers are complaining it was inside the area, and it was close to being inside the area, wasn't it, Dave?
It was right on that edge. You know, as he's fallen, Mark Shields, it is, I think, is ended up in the area. Nico Abbott adamant that the foul occurred inside, but Delphine Demoski picking that one, awarding it on the outside, just outside the area.
It'd be interesting to see, wouldn't it? On the replay, it was very, very close. Thomas Gillespie on this near side might have had a better view than anybody. Anyway, the upshot is a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. Mark Shields is lining it up. We are in stoppage time at the end of the match, and this, you would think, is going to be the best chance that the Tigers get of earning a point.
Can be tough from this close in at times, though, Russ.
Well, every single Gunners player is in the wall, bar Jack Green, who's just off to the side. Laguda won't be able to see anything of the ball. What is Shields going to do? It's close, difficult to get it up and over from here. Will he go low? Will he go round the wall? Some stuff happening off the ball, and there's a yellow card for someone on the bench. Is that J.R. Wilk, maybe? Talked himself into the book. Probably thought it was a penalty from where he was standing. This could be it in terms of the Tigers. Trying to earn something from today. Shields, will he go for craft? Will he go for power? Already got one in that bottom corner today. This could be a pivotal moment, not just for this match, but for the season as a whole as well. It's a big call this early into the season, I know, but
approaching the halfway mark of the season now.
What Shields got up his sleeve? Can he pull something out of the bag? Goes low, deflected, and it was inches away from being turned in on the far post. So they still have a corner.
One last chance here, maybe.
Jacob Cole's coming up. In best Peter Schmeichel tradition, into the penalty area. Every single Tigers player in the box. Every single Gungahlin player in the box. Bailey whips it to the near post. It's a good one too. And McLaughlin and Laguda together combined to get rid of it. Bailey will get another chance to deliver this into the penalty area. Cole making a nuisance of himself, the goalkeeper. Bailey swings it in towards the far post. It's loose in the box. Shields fires it in. I think it hit the crossbar and then came off of Laguda's head, I believe. They're claiming it hit the outside of the post. Couldn't really tell from this distance, could we, Dave? It hit something.
It's hit a solid object and it's rebounded out, and Tigers have another corner here.
Abbott with this one, swings it to the near post. Gaspari wins a header. It's another corner for the Tigers, ending the match. Pressurising, 3 minutes into stoppage time, 3 and a bit now. Abbott to swing it over again. Great delivery to the far post. McLaughlin gets a touch, yet another corner. Are we just going to keep playing corners till someone scores?
Leave someone in each on either side.
You'd have to think if Gungahlin get rid of this, there's no one anywhere near the opposition goal. Bailey towards the far post. Header comes in from Praskos, bounces around on the line. It's smashed clear. Tanini needs to send it back towards the goal. Bailey delivers. Rene is there. It can't clear it. McLaughlin does. Smashes it towards Barbatano. Can't keep it in play. 4 minutes of stoppage time gone. Jared Tanini looking to get on with it. Long towards Spaseski. Might fall for Bailey, and his shot is never coming down until it hits the car park. That might well do it. Might well do it for the Tigers, for Gungahlin rather. We're still going. How long have we played now, Dave? It seems to have been forever. Here's Habtemariam. Finds Barbatano. 5 minutes of stoppage time. Timotheo brings it down. Slides it through to Habtemariam. He could finish it here. Still might come for Timotheo. Good block. Habtemariam bounces around the area. No one could get a shot away. Barbatano might. Into the area. Fires it across. Good save by Cole. Timotheo's in there. Habtemariam turns it into the open goal. And that does do it for Gungahlin United. He sweeps it home. A bit of a mess in the area in the end. And Habtemariam scores and finishes it off once and for all.
4.5 minutes of very wild stoppage time there, Russ. A lot of action at the other end. Gungahlin managing to get down, and that'll wrap that up, I think. That's very important 3 points for Gungahlin United and a first defeat for Tigers FC as it stands.
Question to be asked, though, was Habtemariam behind Cole when Timotheo poked it through to him? Difficult to see from our angle, of course, but the officials were on the spot. It's 3-1 Gungahlin. In the 95th minute, a second of the game for Jeremy Habtemariam. 5 for the season, 3 points for Gungahlin, and Habtemariam's going off to be replaced by his younger brother. Sam Habtemariam comes on for Jeremy Habtemariam. Just to waste a few more seconds. It's not going to really matter because Gungahlin go on to 10 points. And their remarkable season continues, and you don't want to harp on about it, but those 6 points they had deducted at the start of the year would have put them on 16. They'll be now above Gungahlin Tigers. They might not finish top of the table, but they are genuine grand final contenders this year, aren't they?
Yeah, as we said, that was a setback at the start of the season, and the way they've bounced back has been quite extraordinary. Really good effort, as we've seen today. A well-drilled outfit. Marcel Munoz will be pleased with wherever he's watching from, and that's a wrap.
It is indeed. A final whistle goes, and Gungahlin United have came to the home of the Tigers and come away with 3 points, and 3 massive points for their title charge. And it's been a interesting second half. The first half with no goals, Dave. In the second half, it's just blown up. I mean, Jose De Felipe talked himself into a red card. There was a shout there at the end for a possible penalty on the edge of the area, and then we've got 4 goals as well. It's been entertaining.
Action aplenty. Russ, as you said, Gungahlin coming down, taking on undefeated Tigers, hadn't dropped a point at home yet, and really putting in a strong display. Both sides had their moments. Tigers obviously with chances, particularly there towards the end with that run of corners, but Gungahlin popped the ball home when it counted, and they'll be really pleased heading back to Canberra with all 3 tonight. Thanks for your company, Dave. We'll leave you to go and warm up. It's been an incredible match here at Nijong Oval. It's been a decent game. It was half-time, as I said, it was 0-0. A goal from Michael John after 52 minutes opened the scoring. Then we saw Jose De Felipe talk himself into a red card, putting the Tigers up against it. Mark Shields, though, equalised for the 10 men, but they ran out of puff at the end. Jeremy Habtemariam scored with 15 to play, and then as the Tigers were pushing for an equaliser, they were caught on the break, and Habtemariam scored his second of the match to earn Gungahlin all 3 points. We hope you've enjoyed listening to us and watching the match on Bar TV Sports. The final score at Nijong Oval, Tigers FC 1, Gungahlin United 3.